Let's go ahead and write that while loop pseudocode into a working Python program. So I'll create a variable num and I'll assign it 0. And then while the contents of num is less than 5, and like the if else, I need to include that colon at the end of my while statement. And then anything that you want to execute while num is less than 5, we will indent under the while statement. This will form our while block. So I will print the contents of num, and then I'll assign num plus 1. So I'm going to take the contents of num, add 1, and then store it back into num. And I'm ready to run my program. And like we saw in the hand tracing of the pseudocode, the integers 0 through 4 are displayed. Now let's try some other flavors of this loop. Let's loop while num is less than or equal to 5. So that means that instead of 0 through 4, it should print 0 through 5. And we can see that it does. So I'm going to take that out. And then it makes a difference where you put the print statement. So I'm going to cut this out. And I'll add it after we add 1 to num. So I'm going to print num. Now, just doing a quick walkthrough in our head, we're going to loop while num is less than 5. We'll first add 1 to num, and then we're going to print it. And then we go back up and test. So in this case, it prints out the contents 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that could be confusing to some students. Like, why does it print out 5 when we only want to loop while num is less than 5? So if we do a quick hand trace of our code, you can see that initially num is 0. And then when we test num, the contents of num on line 10, this is true. So then we add 1 to num, and then we print the contents of num. So the 1 is printed. And then we go back up and test. Is num still less than 5? True. So add 1 to num, and then print it. Then go back up. Is 2 less than 5? Yes. So add 1 to num, and then print. Is 3 less than 5? Yes. So add 1 to num, and then print. And then go up again, like we've been doing, and test. Is 4 less than 5? True. So add 1 to num. So now num has 5. Print num first. Then go back up and ask, is num less than 5? False. So then the flow continues to after line 12. So make sure you understand the difference between printing before we add 1 and then after we add 1.